So hi everybody, we are back with our Break the Silence reunion. These four brave individuals stepped up big time a few months back and were able to share their stories and volunteer. So we wanted to get them back together to kind of see the impact of what Break the Silence maybe had on their lives, hopefully positive impact, and kind of share with each other on what the wise next steps moving forward, and hopefully how these four individuals can help us continue to lift staff voices as we move forward. But before we get started with the questions, I kind of wanted everyone to introduce themselves again and remind everybody who they're going to be speaking to. So I'm Roman Davis. I was the host of Break the Silence. I had the pleasure of interviewing all four of these individuals, but I wanted to turn it over to you guys. Introduce yourself. We'll start with Jasmine.
Oh, my name's Jasmine. I work for the Family Services, and I broke the silence.
Hi, my name is Gwen. I work at the Stoughton branch for the Welcome Center, and I also broke the silence.
Hi, I'm Erin Kelly Green. I work at the Family Resource Center, and I also broke the silence.
Hi, I'm Manny Daphnis, and I work at the Skinner Street location of the Brockton branch, and I also broke the silence.
So we're going to get started with these questions, right? We don't have that much time today, so I want to make sure I respect all the time. The first question we have is, what ways do you feel others can best support people from underserved communities?
I think the first steps that need to be, put out there is recognizing and understanding what is an underserved community and what are the specific needs, and then pulling together whether it's community partners, members of the community, but making sure like there's equal representation, when people are trying to come up with solutions.
Absolutely. Yeah, good point.
I feel that how they're feeling needs to be affirmed, and just to take that definitely into consideration, along with everything else, but definitely affirm their frustrations about maybe their circumstances, to definitely be able to do that.
Good point, Gwen. Good point.
For me, I always think that it goes back to lack of knowledge, right? And knowledge is transferred best relationally. So I feel like while you can learn something from an instructor or a teacher, but when you actually come to the place where you are invested, and it's, in a lot of ways why so much of our work connected to the OCY matters so much, because we're invested in the lives of many underserved individuals and communities. And our impact is greatest as our members and young people know that they can trust us and connect to us. And so how do we best serve? We best serve by becoming bridges to folks that trust is established, so that education and knowledge could actually be transferred.
Yeah, that's a really nice way of putting it, Manny. Next question for you guys is, did anyone reach out to you after your video premiered? If so, did they mention they learned something, or had it changed their views in any way?
Sharing my experience, it just shows that, my background, even though I come from, a more upscale or diverse background, that I can still have a connection to some of the clients that I'll work with now and in the future, and kind of like, bridging that gap that hey, she has, she's accomplished this much, and she still had to face adversity, and it's kind of like, it's nice, and I'm excited that I got to share this story.
Man, so there were probably a handful, half a dozen or so folks who reached out, who just expressed, thank you for sharing, thank you for your willingness to kind of share your experience. I think the general sentiment was it kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily shocked folks as much as it just opened up their eyes a little bit to what the other side of the racial experience is, things that they might not have been aware of. And I think the overall kind of sentiment was, at this juncture, if we truly are desiring to see progress across kind of racial and socioeconomic lines, dialogues required.
Yes, I did. I had a number of people that had reached out, and again, just, feeling, almost like sorry that these experiences had happened to you, but also on a positive note that it wasn't something that had jaded me to the extent that it was like, dumb and white, that type of thing. So they were happy about that, as I am as well. As I had said at the broadcast, and I'll continue to say it, you tell these stories not just to be telling them, but to help others and to learn from them. Again, we learn, we're supposed to be able to learn from our mistakes.
Where I had many people reach out to me after, my video premiered, I had a whole, different variety of reactions of, people that knew me back then, that were shocked that that's the things that I was going through at home. People that felt sorry. And my response to them was, you knew exactly what I needed you to know at that time. And, there's nothing to be sorry about. I'm here, I made it through, and so did my children. And then I had, I had a friend reach out to me who said that she decided after 17 years of being in an abusive relationship that she found the strength to end it by following my story. And I'm still kind of processing that, because that was my hope, by doing this and sharing the things that I've gone through is, maybe somebody will learn, what to look out for. Maybe someone will start to question how they're being treated and find the confidence in their self-worth, to leave. So I know she's going to tune into this, when this does show. And so I just want to say, I'm very proud of you. I won't say your name, but I'm proud of you and I'm here. And then I've just had families just outpouring of, love and, thankfulness. And it's been nice to share, I went through that too, but I was never able to tell anyone because I was too embarrassed. And I've always had a personality of, I'm going to be me. I'm Erin. Anything that I share is going to be raw. It's going to be the truth. And, that's how we're going to learn and put our pieces back together.
Your friend, and especially, that is a powerful thing to happen after seeing this video. So I commend you again for sharing. And I hope your friend is watching, and, I commend your friend for taking the step and getting out of that relationship. So kudos all around. So now we're going to go to individual questions, and we'll kind of sum it up after that. My first one is for Gwen. With all that you have been exposed to, are you still optimistic about the future? If you are, what is a highlight?
I am. Even in spite of, one of my favorite poems is the whole thing about I rise. So it's like, I still rise. I feel that I come from a people that are resilient. If you look at our history, we should have been annihilated. We should not be here as a people, but we are. So we have a purpose. So I get up every morning, so I still have a purpose. And the purpose is, for me, my passion is Black history. So in any way that I can bring that history to life, from my people and others, that does me good. It does me very good. So we have some Black history stuff that's coming up. We have more classes. I'm helping around my school with some things. So it's like that's my lane, and I'm driving fast in it.
All right, so my next question is for Erin. So can you tell us more about how you raise awareness in the community surrounding issues of domestic violence, specifically pertaining to individuals with disabilities? How do you bring yourself and lived issues into work with clients?
Okay. So my job, my role right now, professionally and personally, is to teach, and to teach others to navigate systems, and to feel empowered and to advocate for themselves. So I guess where I first start off, maybe I'm going to answer the second part, first.
Yep.
But it's all about engaging with the families. My intent on sharing is never something that is self-serving. It's always, to make the family feel comfortable, to know that they're not alone, and just to build that rapport. So in doing so, that helps me, support them with their advocacy skills, connecting to community partners, because then we get to know each other, know where everyone's coming from, when they're trying to resolve these issues. I am very open and upfront, with everyone. So I do speak freely about what a person has gone through, because I've done it myself. Going to like domestic violence services, going to the courthouse, going into schools, anything like that. I can speak from that personal experience and advocate in a different way. And after COVID, whenever that ends, I'm really looking forward to, getting out more into the community and, working more with, scattered shelter sites, working with domestic violence services, services, and really changing the thought process about, we're not victims, we're survivors. And that's what I want people to understand. And that's what I want anybody coming in to work with me, or, personally, to feel like I'm a survivor. Let's go get what I need.
So for Manny, got a question coming from your way. In your Break the Silence, you touched on the importance of having dialogue regarding one's lived experiences in order to raise awareness and increase knowledge. You stated that diversity makes us stronger. However, it largely depends on the perspective in which we view diversity. How can we have conversations with folks who are typically well-intentioned, but at times struggle to see the beauty of diversity?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, I think it speaks volumes to pushing this narrative forward. The bottom line, however, though, is folks have to want to actually go forward, right? There has to be an earnest willingness to learn. And that, again, I believe comes about when there's deepened relationship. So I'm not talking about societal change and systemic change. What I'm talking about is change happening at the individual level, that if we can begin to change our community from the inside out, then our community can begin to have a broader impact and reach societally, and more reach more deeply. So it starts with a willingness. It starts with a willingness. You can't change someone. You can't impact someone who isn't willing to actually hear and learn and be willing to engage in conversation. And the hope is that relationally, because rapport is built, that willingness can actually come about.
Thank you, Manny. That's a good way of putting that too. And my last question for everybody, which is pointed at Jasmine, is you spoke at length about the resources that have helped you on this journey. What can we do as a community to reduce harm and promote healing?
So kind of like how I said before, is like starting in the home, giving those people, if they don't have the basic necessities, then we can't grow from there. I know a lot of us are mandated reporters, and it's just like, if you see something, say something. I know that there was that news story where that waitress helped that little boy, get out of, or little girl. I'm not really sure who it was, but they helped him get out of a domestic violence situation for their parents or something. And I thought that, like, she has no reporting skills or no mandatedness, but she saw something, and she said something, and she helped that child, grow and get out of that dangerous situation. Also, being like lending an ear. I know, like, my fiance and I, we have like the saying that we say is like, do you want advice or do you want an ear? And it's like he will give me advice on, if I ask for advice. If I just want to lay it all out, I'm going to lay it all out, and I say, just give me an ear and just like have me listen. And you just need to listen to all of the different stories that come about.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to each and every one of you that made the time again to break the silence for the second time, for each of you to be on this reunion. I truly cannot thank you enough for volunteering your time. I just want to say thank you. I do want to give a shout out to some people behind the scenes that don't get enough credit. That is Dee and that is Michael. They make all of this happen, and they make us look so good on these calls. But to be honest, thank you to those two. We would not be able to do this without them. And I just want to say to the four of you, you have the invitation to come back. I hope we can continue these conversations for years to come. And if you do have any questions, please let us know, okay? Thank you for your time today. And to the viewer, thank you for watching another episode of Break the Silence and our first season reunion. So thank you again, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.